Every morning when you wake up, your body is crying out for something. Not coffee, not your first meal, but the right fuel to power through your day with energy that lasts and circulation that works like it did decades ago. Most men over 60 think their best years are behind them. They accept the afternoon crashes, the sluggish mornings, the quiet struggles in the bedroom as just part of getting older. But what if I told you that the difference between feeling exhausted by noon and having energy that carries you through dinner with your grandkids comes down to what you eat in the first hour of your day? I'm Dr. Michael Harrison, a men's health specialist with over 25 years helping men reclaim their vitality when they thought it was gone for good. I've sat across from thousands of men who walked into my office feeling like shadows of themselves, and I've watched them transform not through expensive treatments or complicated protocols, but by fixing something as simple as breakfast. Because here's what most doctors won't tell you: the right morning meal doesn't just fill your stomach, it signals your entire hormonal system, kickstarts your circulation, and can literally determine whether you feel like a man or just someone going through the motions. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what that breakfast looks like. Not some complicated recipe that takes an hour to prepare, but a simple combination of foods that work together to boost your energy, support healthy blood flow, and yes, help restore the kind of natural function that makes you feel confident again. We'll talk about the 3 critical nutrients your body needs first thing in the morning, the one ingredient that acts like rocket fuel for male circulation, and the biggest mistake men make that actually drains their energy before 10 a.m. But first, let me tell you about Frank. 72 years old, retired carpenter, married for 48 years. When he first came to see me, he could barely make it through his morning coffee without feeling wiped out. His wife told me later that he'd stopped reaching for her hand, stopped making eye contact the way he used to. Not because he didn't love her, but because something inside him had gone quiet. Within 6 weeks of changing nothing but his breakfast routine, Frank was back to his old self. More energy, better mood, and according to his wife with a knowing smile, much more interested in their evening conversations. That transformation didn't happen because Frank started eating exotic superfoods or spending a fortune on supplements. It happened because he learned what his aging body actually needed to function at its best, and he gave it that fuel every single morning without fail. The same transformation is available to you, starting tomorrow morning, if you're ready to take it seriously. Now, before we dive into the specifics, I want to address something that might be holding you back. Maybe you've tried different diets, different supplements, different approaches to feeling better, and nothing seemed to stick. Maybe you're thinking, this is just another promise that won't deliver. I understand that skepticism, because I've heard it from every patient who's walked through my door. But here's the difference. What I'm about to share isn't about changing your entire life. It's about changing one meal, one decision you make every morning that compounds over time into the kind of vitality you thought was gone forever. The science behind this is actually straightforward. Your body runs on fuel, and the quality of that fuel determines everything from your energy levels to your blood circulation to your hormonal balance. Most men over 60 are running on the wrong fuel. They're eating foods that spike their blood sugar, crash their energy, and leave their circulatory system struggling to keep up. But when you give your body the right combination of nutrients first thing in the morning, you set off a chain reaction that carries you through the entire day with steady energy and robust circulation. Let me start with the foundation, and this might surprise you. The best breakfast for energy and circulation isn't built around carbohydrates. It's built around healthy fats and high-quality proteins that provide sustained fuel without the crashes. Think of your body like a wood-burning stove. You can throw newspaper on the fire and get a quick flame that burns out fast, or you can add solid hardwood that burns steady and strong for hours. Most breakfast foods, even the ones marketed as healthy, are like newspaper. They give you a quick burst, followed by a crash
that leaves you reaching for more fuel by mid-morning.
2 to 3 whole eggs, cooked in a healthy fat like grass-fed butter or coconut oil, provide the protein foundation your body needs to maintain steady blood sugar and sustained energy. But eggs are just the beginning. The real game changer comes from adding specific foods that act like natural circulation boosters. The first is avocado. Half an avocado with your eggs provides monounsaturated fats that support healthy blood flow and help your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins. More importantly, avocados contain potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure and supports cardiovascular health. The combination of healthy fats and potassium creates an environment where blood moves freely through your system, delivering oxygen and nutrients where they're needed most. Now here's where it gets interesting. There's one ingredient that I recommend to every man over 60 who wants to support healthy circulation and energy, and it's probably sitting in your spice cabinet right now. Cayenne pepper. Just a pinch of cayenne pepper added to your eggs or sprinkled on your avocado acts like a natural circulation booster. Cayenne contains capsaicin, a compound that causes blood vessels to dilate and improves blood flow throughout your entire body. This isn't just theory, this is measurable physiology. Within minutes of consuming cayenne, your circulation improves, your body temperature rises slightly, and blood flow increases to all your organs, including the ones that matter most for masculine confidence. I've had patients tell me they can feel the difference within days of adding cayenne to their morning routine, not just in their energy levels, but in their overall sense of vitality and function. One man told me it was like someone turned the lights back on in his body. That's the power of giving your circulatory system the support it needs instead of fighting against it with foods that slow it down. The third component of this circulation-supporting breakfast is something most men don't get enough of, and it's critical for maintaining healthy blood flow and energy as you age. Dark leafy greens. I'm talking about spinach, kale, arugula, or any green that's rich in nitrates. Your body converts nitrates into nitric oxide, which is essential for healthy circulation and blood vessel function. Adding a handful of spinach to your eggs, or having a small side salad with your breakfast, provides the raw materials your body needs to keep your circulatory system functioning optimally. Here's what a typical morning might look like. 2 to 3 eggs scrambled in grass-fed butter, half an avocado sliced on the side, a handful of spinach either mixed into the eggs or as a small salad, and a pinch of cayenne pepper for that circulation boost. The entire meal takes less than 10 minutes to prepare and provides sustained energy for 4 to 6 hours without any crashes or mid-morning hunger pangs. But there's more to this than just the individual ingredients. The timing and combination matter just as much as what you're eating. Your body's hormonal system follows a natural rhythm, and breakfast plays a crucial role in setting that rhythm for the entire day. When you eat foods that cause blood sugar spikes, you trigger a release of insulin that can suppress testosterone production and leave you feeling drained. But when you start your day with healthy fats, quality proteins, and circulation-supporting nutrients, you support healthy hormone production and maintain steady energy levels. This is particularly important for men over 60 because testosterone production naturally declines with age, and poor nutrition can accelerate that decline. The combination of healthy fats from eggs and avocado, along with the circulation benefits of cayenne and nitrates from greens, creates an environment where your body can produce and utilize hormones more effectively. It's not about trying to turn back the clock. It's about supporting your body's natural processes so they can function as well as possible at your current age. Thinking this sounds too simple, or you might be wondering about cholesterol concerns with eating whole eggs regularly. Let me put your mind at ease with some facts. The research on dietary cholesterol has evolved significantly over the past decade. We now know that for most people, dietary cholesterol has minimal impact on blood cholesterol levels. Your liver produces about 80% of your body's cholesterol, and when you eat cholesterol-containing foods, your liver simply produces less. The nutrients in egg yolks, particularly choline and the fat-soluble vitamins, are far more beneficial than any theoretical cholesterol concerns. In fact, many of my patients see improvements in their cholesterol profiles when they switch to this type of breakfast, because they're no longer eating processed cereals, sugary pastries, or other high-carbohydrate breakfast foods that actually contribute to poor cholesterol ratios. The steady blood sugar levels from a fat and protein-based breakfast help reduce inflammation, which is a much bigger factor in cardiovascular health than dietary cholesterol ever was. There's another benefit to this approach that many men don't expect, but notice within the first week. Mental clarity. The brain runs on glucose, but it functions much better when that glucose comes from a steady, controlled release, rather than from blood sugar spikes and crashes. When you start your day with sustained fuel instead of quick-burning carbohydrates, your brain gets the steady energy it needs to function optimally. Many of my patients report feeling sharper, more focused, and more mentally alert throughout the morning and into the afternoon. This mental clarity isn't separate from the circulation benefits we've been discussing. Your brain requires about 20% of your body's blood flow to function properly. When you support healthy circulation through your food choices, your brain benefits just as much as the rest of your body. The combination of improved blood flow and steady energy creates an environment where you can think clearly, make better decisions, and feel more like yourself throughout the day. Let me share another success story that illustrates how powerful this simple change can be. Robert was 68 when he first came to see me. He'd been struggling with afternoon fatigue that was so severe he had to take naps just to function. His morning routine included coffee and a bagel or cereal, and by 10 a.m. he was already looking forward to lunch just to get another energy boost. Within 2 weeks of switching to the breakfast approach I've outlined, Robert's afternoon naps became a thing of the past. His energy levels stayed consistent throughout the day, and he found himself staying up later in the evening because he wasn't crashing by mid-afternoon. But the changes went beyond just energy. Robert's wife mentioned that he seemed more engaged, more present in their conversations. He started taking on projects around the house that he'd been putting off for months. His overall mood improved, and he felt more confident in social situations. All from changing what he ate in the first hour of his day. That's the compound effect of supporting your body's natural systems instead of working against them. Now I want to talk about hydration, because what you drink with your breakfast is almost as important as what you eat. Most men start their day with coffee, and there's nothing wrong with coffee in moderation. But coffee alone, especially on an empty stomach, can actually work against the circulation benefits we're trying to achieve. Caffeine can cause blood vessels to constrict temporarily, and the diuretic effect can lead to dehydration if you're not careful. Instead of drinking coffee first thing in the morning, try starting with a large glass of clean water, perhaps with a pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lemon. This helps rehydrate your body after 8 hours without fluids and provides the foundation for optimal circulation. The sea salt provides minerals that support cellular hydration, and the lemon adds vitamin C and helps with digestion. After you've had your water and eaten your breakfast, then you can enjoy your coffee if you want it. There's one more element to this breakfast approach that can make a significant difference in how you feel throughout the day. Intermittent fasting. Now, before you think I'm suggesting you skip breakfast entirely, hear me out. The type of breakfast I've described, rich in healthy fats and proteins, naturally supports a longer window between meals. Instead of eating breakfast at 7, then needing a snack at 10 and lunch at noon, you might find that without eating foods that provide such sustained satisfaction that you don't need to eat as frequently. The benefits of this approach extend beyond just convenience. When your body isn't constantly processing food, it can focus energy on other functions, including repair, hormone production, and maintaining healthy circulation. Some of my patients report improvements in sleep quality, mental clarity, and overall energy when they allow longer windows between meals, and it all starts with a breakfast that provides genuine satisfaction rather than just temporary fullness. Let me address one more concern that comes up frequently. What if you're not hungry first thing in the morning? Many men, especially as they age, find that their appetite isn't strong when they first wake up. This is actually normal and can be a sign that your body is still processing food from the previous day. If you're not hungry when you wake up, don't force yourself to eat immediately. Wait until you feel genuine hunger, then have the breakfast I've described. However, if you're never hungry in the morning, it might be worth examining what you're eating in the evening. Late-night snacking, especially on processed foods or high-carbohydrate meals, can disrupt your natural hunger patterns and leave you feeling sluggish in the morning. Try stopping food intake 3 hours before bed for a week and see if your morning appetite improves. Often, when men clean up their evening eating habits, their morning hunger returns naturally. The key is listening to your body's signals rather than eating by the clock. True hunger is different from habit or boredom eating. When you're genuinely hungry, food tastes better, your body processes it more efficiently, and you get more satisfaction from what you eat. This is particularly important as you age, because your metabolism may not be. Prep your ingredients the night before. Wash your greens, slice your avocado, and have your eggs ready to cook. This cuts your morning preparation time in half and makes it easier to stick with the routine even when you're in a hurry. Second, cook multiple portions at once. Make scrambled eggs for 2 or 3 days and reheat them as needed. Prepare a large salad that will last several days. The goal is to remove as many barriers as possible between you and a healthy breakfast. Third, have backup options for days when you're traveling or your routine is disrupted. Hard-boiled eggs, pre-cut avocado, and a small container of spinach can be packed for travel. Even if you can't prepare your ideal breakfast, you can still maintain the principles of healthy fats, quality protein, and circulation-supporting nutrients. The sustainability of any nutritional approach depends on how well it fits into your real life. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Eating this way 80% of the time will give you significant benefits. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, and don't abandon the entire approach because you had a donut one morning. Focus on progress, not perfection, and build habits that you can maintain long term. There's one final element I want to discuss, and it's perhaps the most important. The mindset you bring to your nutrition choices. Food isn't just fuel for your body, it's also information. Every meal you eat sends signals to your cells about what kind of day you're preparing for. When you start your morning with processed foods, excess sugar, or empty calories, you're essentially telling your body to expect a day of ups and downs, energy crashes, and suboptimal function. But when you start your day with nutrient-dense food, the mindset you bring to your nutrition choices. Food isn't just fuel for your body, it's also information. Every meal you eat sends signals to your cells about what kind of day you're preparing for. When you start your morning with processed foods, excess sugar, or empty calories, you're essentially telling your body to expect a day of ups and downs, energy crashes, and suboptimal function. But when you start your day with nutrient-dense food who aren't supporting their bodies properly. The breakfast approach I've outlined isn't a quick fix or a temporary diet. It's a sustainable way of eating that supports your body's natural processes and helps you feel your best at any age. Now, let's talk about something that could completely change your morning routine and your entire day ahead. Because what I'm about to share isn't just another breakfast suggestion. It's a complete system that addresses the 3 biggest energy killers most men over 60 face every single morning without even realizing it. You see, there's a reason why some men wake up feeling refreshed, energized, and ready to take on the world, while others drag themselves out of bed feeling foggy, sluggish, and already defeated before the day even begins. And it has everything to do with what happens in your kitchen during those first crucial 30 minutes after you wake up. Most men think breakfast is just about filling their stomach, stopping the hunger, getting some fuel for the day. But that's exactly the mindset that's been quietly sabotaging your energy levels, your blood flow, and yes, your performance in every area of life that matters. Because breakfast isn't just your first meal, it's your body's first instruction manual for the entire day ahead. Think about it this way. When you wake up, your body has been fasting for 8, 10, maybe 12 hours. Your blood sugar is at its lowest point. Your hormones are trying to reset. Your circulation is sluggish. Your metabolism is just beginning to wake up. This is the most critical window of opportunity you have to either set yourself up for sustained energy and vitality, or to crash and burn by mid-morning. And here's what most doctors won't tell you, what most nutrition experts completely miss. The standard American breakfast, even the so-called healthy versions, are designed to work against your body's natural rhythms, especially after 60. That bowl of oatmeal with fruit, that whole grain toast with jam, that glass of orange juice, even that protein shake with banana, they're all sending the wrong signals to your system. They're causing your blood sugar to spike and crash. They're triggering inflammation. They're disrupting your hormonal balance. And most importantly, they're doing absolutely nothing to support the kind of blood flow and circulation that keeps you feeling like a man who's still got it. But what if I told you there's a different way? What if the secret to sustained energy, mental clarity, and yes, stronger erections, isn't about eating more for breakfast, but about eating smarter? What if the foods that actually support male vitality after 60 are completely different from what you've been told? I'm talking about a breakfast approach that works with your biology, not against it. One that supports your testosterone production naturally. One that enhances blood flow to all the areas that matter. One that gives you steady, sustained energy that lasts all day long, not just until your next coffee break. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You've tried different diets before. You've experimented with various breakfast routines. Maybe you've even given up breakfast altogether, thinking that would help. But here's the difference. This isn't about following someone else's meal plan, or counting calories, or restricting yourself. This is about understanding exactly how your body works after 60 and giving it precisely what it needs when it needs it most. Let me share something that might surprise you. The most powerful breakfast foods for men over 60 aren't the ones you'll find in the cereal aisle or the ones that come with health claims plastered all over the package. They're simple, whole foods that your grandfather would recognize. Foods that have been supporting male vitality for generations. Foods that work at the cellular level to optimize everything from your energy production to your circulation to your hormonal balance. And the best part? This approach doesn't require complicated meal prep, expensive supplements, or hours in the kitchen. We're talking about 5 to 10 minutes max. Simple combinations that you can prepare the night before if you want. Ingredients you can find at any grocery store. Nothing exotic, nothing complicated, nothing that's going to break the bank or disrupt your routine. You see, timing matters more than you think. The sequence in which you consume certain nutrients can make the difference between feeling energized for hours or crashing before noon. The way you combine proteins, fats, and carbohydrates can either support healthy blood flow or work against it. Even something as simple as what you drink with your breakfast can either enhance nutrient absorption or interfere with it. This is why so many men tell me they've tried eating healthier breakfasts, but still don't feel the energy they're looking for. They're eating the right foods, but in the wrong combinations, at the wrong times, in the wrong proportions. It's like having all the right ingredients for a recipe, but mixing them up in the wrong order. You might end up with something edible, but you're missing out on the real magic that happens when everything comes together perfectly. And speaking of magic, let me tell you about something that happened with one of my longtime friends, a man named Robert, who's 68 years old. Robert had been struggling with low energy for months. He'd wake up tired, need multiple cups of coffee just to function, and by afternoon, he was ready for a nap. His wife was concerned about him. He was concerned about himself. He thought maybe this was just what getting older looked like. But Robert was also dealing with something else, something he was embarrassed to talk about even with his doctor. His morning erections had disappeared completely. His interest in intimacy had declined. He felt like he was losing a fundamental part of who he was as a man. And he assumed these two issues, the fatigue and the sexual health problems, were completely unrelated. That's when I introduced Robert to what I call the Vitality Breakfast Protocol. Nothing dramatic, nothing extreme, just a specific combination of nutrients, timed correctly, prepared simply. Within 2 weeks, Robert called me excited. His energy was back, his mental clarity had improved, and yes, his morning erections had returned. His wife noticed the difference too. He was more present, more engaged, more like his old self. Now, Robert's results might sound too good to be true, but here's what was actually happening. By changing how he started his day nutritionally, Robert was addressing the root causes of both his energy problems and his circulation issues. Because these aren't separate problems, they're connected. Poor circulation affects energy. Poor energy affects circulation. Hormonal imbalance affects both. And it all starts with that first meal of the day. The foods Robert started eating were working at multiple levels simultaneously. They were stabilizing his blood sugar, which eliminated the energy crashes. They were providing the specific nutrients his body needed for problems and his circulation issues. Because these aren't separate problems, they're connected. Poor circulation affects energy. Poor energy affects circulation. Hormonal imbalance affects both. And it all starts with that first meal of the day. The foods Robert started eating were working at multiple levels simultaneously. They were stabilizing his blood sugar, which eliminated the energy crashes. They were providing the specific nutrients his body needed for the day. And here's something else that Robert discovered, something that many men don't realize. When you get your breakfast right, it affects everything else you eat for the rest of the day. Your cravings change. Your appetite regulates itself naturally. You stop reaching for sugary snacks or needing that afternoon caffeine hit. Your body starts operating from a place of abundance rather than desperation. But Robert's story isn't unique. I've seen this transformation happen with dozens of men who were willing to make this one simple change. Men who thought their best years were behind them, who had accepted fatigue and declining vitality as inevitable parts of aging. Men who discovered that with the right approach to morning nutrition, they could feel more energetic and vital at 65 or 70 than they had at 55. Now, you might be wondering what exactly Robert was eating. What were these magical breakfast foods that made such a dramatic difference? And that's exactly what we're going to explore next. But first, I want you to understand something important. This isn't about finding the one perfect superfood or the one miracle ingredient. It's about understanding how certain combinations of nutrients work together to create compound effects in your body. Conducted properly, timed correctly, the result is something far more powerful and beautiful than any single instrument could create alone. That's what happens when you combine the right breakfast foods in the right proportions at the right time. The foundation of this approach rests on 3 key principles that most men over 60 have never heard of, but once you understand them, everything else makes perfect sense. Breakfast foods leave you feeling energized and vital, while others leave you feeling sluggish and depleted. They explain why timing matters so much, and they explain why the conventional wisdom about healthy breakfasts is actually working against you. The first principle is what I call metabolic priming. This is about eating foods that signal to your metabolism to burn fat for fuel rather than constantly craving sugar. When your body learns to efficiently burn fat, your energy becomes steady and sustained rather than spiking and crashing throughout the day. But most breakfast foods, even healthy ones, teach your body to depend on sugar for energy, which creates that roller coaster effect that leaves you exhausted. The second principle is circulation activation. This involves consuming specific nutrients that support nitric oxide production and healthy blood flow throughout your body. When your circulation is optimized, everything works better. Your brain gets more oxygen, so your thinking is clearer. Your muscles get more nutrients, so your energy is higher. And yes, your sexual organs get better blood flow, which directly impacts your performance and confidence. The third principle is hormonal harmony. This means eating foods and combinations that support your body's natural hormone production, particularly testosterone, while avoiding foods that disrupt or suppress it. Most men don't realize that many common breakfast foods actually interfere with testosterone production, while certain other foods can naturally support and enhance it. When you align your breakfast with these three principles, something remarkable happens. Your body stops fighting against itself and starts working with you. Energy production becomes efficient. Blood flow improves naturally. Hormones balance themselves. And you start feeling like the man you remember being, not the tired, sluggish version you've been settling for. But here's where most men get stuck. They understand the theory, but they don't know how to put it into practice. They don't know which specific foods to choose, how to combine them, when to eat them, or how to make it all work with their existing routine. They want to make the change, but they need a clear, simple system they can follow starting tomorrow morning. That's exactly what I'm going to give you. A step-by-step blueprint that takes all the guesswork out of creating the perfect vitality breakfast. No complicated recipes, no hard-to-find ingredients, no major lifestyle overhaul. Now, let's get into the practical side of this. You've heard the science, you understand the connections, but how do you actually make this work in your daily life? Because knowing what to do and doing it consistently are two very different things. And after working with thousands of men over the years, I can tell you that the difference between those who succeed and those who struggle isn't knowledge, it's implementation. Let me tell you about Harold, a 68-year-old retired electrician who came to me after months of following every piece of advice he could find online. He'd changed his breakfast 3 times, tried intermittent fasting, bought expensive supplements, and still felt like he was missing something. That conversation changed how I approached this topic entirely, because Harold wasn't lacking information. He was lacking a system, a simple, sustainable way to put all these pieces together without turning his life upside down. And that's exactly what we're going to build right now. First, let's talk about timing. Most men get this completely wrong. They read about intermittent fasting and think they need to skip breakfast entirely, or they hear about protein and start forcing down eggs at 6 in the morning when their body isn't ready. But here's what actually works. Your body has natural rhythms, and the key is working with them, not against them. The ideal eating window for most men over 60 starts around 8 to 9 in the morning. Not because some guru said so, but because that's when your cortisol levels naturally begin to settle, and your digestive system is primed for nutrients. Starting too early can actually work against you, spiking insulin when your body is still in its natural fasting state, ready until dinner. That simple timing adjustment made all the difference. But timing is just the beginning. The real magic happens when you understand food combinations. This isn't about complicated meal planning or counting macros. It's about understanding how different nutrients work together to optimize your hormonal response and energy production. Here's the foundation. Every breakfast should contain 3 elements: a healthy fat, a complete protein, and a circulation booster. The fat provides sustained energy and hormone production. The protein gives your muscles and brain what they need to function. And the circulation booster ensures everything gets delivered where it needs to go. Let me break this down practically. For healthy fats, we're talking about real food: avocado, olive oil, nuts, seeds, or if you tolerate it well, organic butter or coconut oil. These aren't just calories. They're the building blocks for testosterone and other crucial hormones. Without adequate healthy fats, your body can't produce the hormones that keep you feeling like a man. For protein, quality matters more than quantity. 2 to 3 eggs, Greek yogurt, or a small portion of wild-caught fish. The goal isn't to overload your system, but to provide steady amino acids that your body can use throughout the morning. I've seen too many men try to force down massive protein shakes, only to feel sluggish and bloated. And for your circulation booster, this is where most men miss the mark entirely. They think they need exotic superfoods or expensive supplements, but the most powerful circulation enhancers are sitting in your spice rack right now. A pinch of cayenne pepper, a dash of cinnamon, or some fresh ginger can do more than use throughout the morning. I've seen too many men try to force down massive protein shakes, only to feel sluggish and bloated. And for your circulation booster, this is where most men miss the mark entirely. They think they need exotic superfoods or expensive supplements, but the most powerful circulation enhancers are sitting in your spice rack right now. A pinch of cayenne pepper, a dash of cinnamon, or some fresh ginger can do more for your blood flow than most pills. One of my patients, Frank, a 64-year-old carpenter, started adding a quarter teaspoon of cayenne to his morning eggs. Within 2 weeks, he noticed his hands weren't as cold during the day, and his wife mentioned that his color looked better. These might seem like small changes, but they're signs that circulation is improving throughout his entire body. Now, let's talk about the mistakes that can sabotage everything. The biggest one is what I call the sugar trap. Even men who think they're eating healthy often start their day with foods that spike blood sugar and set them up for energy crashes later. Fruit juice, most cereals, toast, even oatmeal with honey can trigger an insulin response that works against everything we're trying to achieve. I had a patient named Robert who couldn't understand why he felt great for an hour after breakfast, then crashed hard around 10 in the morning. When we looked at his routine, he was having a banana and orange juice with his eggs, thinking the fruit was healthy. The moment we removed those simple sugars and replaced them with a handful of berries, his energy became rock solid. The second mistake is portion size. After 60, your metabolism isn't what it used to be. Eating the same portions you did at 30 can leave you feeling heavy and sluggish. The goal is to eat enough to fuel your body, not to fill your stomach. Most men need less food than they think, but better quality food than they're getting. Here's a simple rule. Your breakfast should leave you satisfied, but not full. You should feel energized, not like you need a nap. If you're feeling heavy or drowsy after eating, you've either eaten too much or the wrong combination of foods. Hydration is another piece most men completely overlook. By the time you wake up, you've been without water for 8 hours or more. Your blood is thicker, your circulation is sluggish, and your body is essentially running on empty. Starting your day with proper hydration isn't optional if you want optimal function. But here's the key. Not all hydration is created equal. Plain water is good, but water with a pinch of high-quality sea salt is better. The salt helps your body actually absorb and utilize the water instead of just flushing it through your system. I recommend starting your day with 16 to 20 ounces of water with a small pinch of salt, about 20 minutes before you eat. This simple step can improve circulation, support blood pressure, and help your body process nutrients more effectively. I've had patients tell me this alone made them feel more alert and energized within days. Upon waking, drink your salt water. Wait 20 to 30 minutes, then prepare your breakfast using the 3-element foundation we discussed. Eat slowly, chew thoroughly, and pay attention to how you feel. After breakfast, this is crucial. Take a short walk, even 5 to 10 minutes. This isn't about exercise. It's about supporting digestion and circulation. Movement after eating helps your body process nutrients more effectively and prevents the sluggish feeling that many men experience after meals. I remember David, a 69-year-old retired banker, who started taking a 10-minute walk around his neighborhood after breakfast. He told me it was like flipping a switch. His energy stayed consistent all morning, his mood improved, and he found himself looking forward to the start of each day. The beauty of this approach is its simplicity. You're not counting calories or following complicated meal plans. You're working with your body's natural rhythms and giving it what it needs to function optimally. And when your body is functioning optimally, everything else follows. Your energy improves, your circulation strengthens, your hormones balance, and your confidence returns. But here's what I want you to understand most clearly. This isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. You don't need to execute this flawlessly every single day. You need to do it well most days. Life happens, schedules change, and sometimes you'll grab whatever's available. That's normal and acceptable. The goal is to establish a foundation that supports your body's needs while being sustainable for your lifestyle. Because the best nutrition plan in the world is worthless if you can't stick to it. And the simple truth is, when you start feeling better, when your energy is steady and your body is you need to do it well most days. Life happens, schedules change, and sometimes you'll grab whatever's available. That's normal and acceptable. The goal is to establish a foundation that supports your body's needs while being sustainable for your lifestyle. Because the best nutrition plan in the world is worthless if you can't stick to it. And the simple truth is, when you start feeling better, when your energy is steady and your body is responding the way it should, vitamins we've discussed today, vitamin D for circulation, B12 for energy, and vitamin E for hormonal support, aren't just supplements. They're tools for reclaiming the man you still are. Your best years don't have to be behind you, and taking control of your health is the first step toward proving that to yourself.